Welcome, Python students. We're going to talk a little more about Boolean statements. The Boolean data type will be giving you a true or false answer. So we can ask something simple like, is 6 greater than 5? Well, of course it is. So true is what's going to be returned. We could say, is 9 less than 2? That's obviously false, so false will be returned. And these statements can be even more complex. We could use variables. So if I say x is equal to 8, I could say, is x greater than 10 minus 2? Well, in this expression, both before and after the greater than sign, they're going to be both equal to 8. So is 8 greater than 8? No, that's false. But if I switch that to greater than or equal to, then that's true. Both sides of that expression are going to equal 8. 8 greater than or equal to 8 is true. Now we're going to use these Boolean statements, the ones that evaluate to true or false, and we're going to use them in an if block, or an if statement. So this little block of code has you read in the temperature. You ask, what's the temperature? And if you're using an older version of Python, this input statement would be raw underscore input, and it would read it in as a number, and you wouldn't need to do this conversion here. But the input statement will read things in as a string. So we'll convert the string that they enter into a floating point number. And a floating point number can have a decimal place. So they could say the temperature is 71.5 or something like that. If we knew there was no decimal place, we could say convert it into an integer instead. So what will the first couple lines of this program look like? Well, we're going to be saying the temperature variable is going to be set to whatever the user inputs right here in this input statement. What is the temp? And it'll wait for us to reply, and we'll say the temperature is 75. So in this program, the temperature is going to be a string until we convert it to a floating point number or an int. In this case, an int would have worked, but to allow for more temperatures, we're going to try a float instead. So we've got it converted into a number. Now in my program, I'm going to do a comparison. Is the temperature that the user entered less than 70? Well, in the case where they entered 75, that'll evaluate to false. So we will skip this line right here that says print a jacket. So let's see what happens when we run this. And we go ahead and run it. What is the temperature? Well, if I say it's 75, we don't print that get a jacket line. What if I run it again, and this time I say that the temperature is 63.5, now I say bring a jacket. So we can make this even more complex. So what if the temperature is so cold that not only do we need a jacket, but we also need a hat? So I'm going to do a second comparison in here. In other languages it's an else if. Here it's an elif. And I'm going to do my second comparison with the temperature is whether or not the temperature is less than 50. Now this is not going to work necessarily right off the bat, but we'll give it a shot. So I'm going to say bring a hat if it's less than 50. All right, let's run this, and we'll of course save our changes. What's the temperature? Let's say it's 45. So bring a jacket. That's not what I was expecting. I was expecting it to say bring a hat. So what's going on? We're checking, is the temperature 45 less than 70? Well, why, yes it is. So it says bring a jacket, and then it exits out of this if statement. Only one of these statements will be printed at most, and sometimes no statements. So in order to get that example to work, let's just switch the order of these comparisons. So we check, is it less than 50 first? If so, we'll say bring a hat, and then we'll do our higher number comparison second, bring a jacket. All right, so let's try that again. What's the temperature? Let's say 45. bring a hat. That worked just fine. And if we run it again with a higher temperature, nothing may print. Or what if it's a number between 70 and 50? So something like 65, then it prints bring a jacket. So the order of these comparisons is very important. I'm going to add one more part to this if statement, and that's going to be what if nothing above here evaluates to true? I still want it to print out something, and I can do that with an else. And so let's see, if it's above 70, what should we say? We could say maybe bring sunglasses. I don't know. Bring sunglasses, or have a nice day, or something. So at least one line will print out, either bring a hat, a jacket, or sunglasses. So I'll go ahead and run this. And the only difference is going to be for those very high temperatures, where I used to have nothing print out if it was greater than or equal to 70, but now if it's greater than or equal to 70, it's going to say bring sunglasses. So that's a little bit about the if, elif, or else.